Hi, this is Alyssa Borelli, website editor for Commercial Integrator. Today I'm delighted to have Dan Holland, marketing manager at IHSE, joining in on a discussion about the command and control room market. This is, of course, part of Commercial Integrator's Command and Control Deep Dive Report in the August edition of Commercial Integrator and Security Sales and Integration. This will also be spotlighted throughout the month of August online. Welcome, Dan. So great to have you here today.
Well, thank you for having me. Good to talk about command and control environments.
Let's jump right into it.
Okay.
Can you explain the role of a KVM system and what considerations should be taken into account in a secure, mission-critical command and control room environment?
Sure. The main thing about the KVM is just allowing you to take multiple computers and being able to access them quickly. There's a couple of different ways that you can set those up, either where it's a small single user type KVM that would be at the desktop, or it could be one where most of your computers would be back into a server room somewhere for a more security type applications. And then these would be either extended through some kind of fiber optics cable or copper type cable back to the desktop. This allows you a little bit more security in, like military or defense type applications. But along with that is that, some of the main things that you need to deal with is, user comfort, because a lot of times in these command and control environments, people are just be sitting around. So you want to make sure that the seating is comfortable, the visuals are comfortable, sitting at the desk, that all the visuals, the displays are in the right order. There needs to be, maybe card readers in there for permissions type access. You got to be able to understand the different network connections, what's connected to what. Sometimes you may have security levels, different levels that require you to, separate some of the signal formats. So there's a lot more than that, but, just sort of a concise, that's some of the main things you need to deal with.
What are the key differences between KVM systems and display management systems? In what scenarios would you choose a DMS over a KVM system?
So, KVM, which, hopefully everybody knows, is keyboard video mouse. And we've sort of expanded out of that over the years, where it's not just keyboard video mouse anymore. So we've sort of coined the term display management systems, or DMS, because in a lot of these applications is that you may not have a keyboard and a mouse. It may be a touchscreen environment. It may be a web browser, where you have to do things. It may be your phone system. So in a KVM environment, whether it's running off of a closed environment, or whether you're doing something remotely, it's going to require a lot more emphasis on the connectivity type. So you're going to have displays, obviously, because everybody's going to be able to see things, and you're going to have some kind of management when you're getting into a control room environment. And of course, everybody knows that when you tie all this stuff together, it's identified as a system. So that's how we sort of came up with the name of display management systems. And early on, most of the IT admin people would be in the back room, and you'd call them up, and then they'd fix whatever problem that you had at the desk. With a display management system is that you take a little bit more control of it. You can manage that stuff at your desk now, where you don't have to completely rely on an IT guy to come in and kind of fix all the stuff that's going on.
Can you explain the advantages of a single user KVM switch compared to a multi-user KVM matrix switch in a command and control room environment?
Sure. So there's two types of KVM, which we call a switch, which would be basically a single user desktop. So if you had multiple computers at your desk, and you wanted to be able to use a single keyboard and a mouse or a display to access those, then That would be a single user. So basically a number of inputs to a single output device or keyboard mouse. In a multi-user KVM matrix system, this is set up running through a matrix switch. So now you have the ability to not only have uh, access to more than 4 or more than 8 that would be at your desk, is now you can remotely access those. So either through a network connection or either through some physical wired connection in a back room somewhere. And additionally is in some applications you could take your access point, keyboard, mouse, and manage switching somebody else's or put what you're working on onto a video wall so that you can see what's going on. So in a single user, I guess the main point is that it's just a single access, which sort of identifies when it says single user, and then multi-user, which allows you multiple connectivity between multiple users.
What are the key factors to consider when deciding between a closed loop KVM system and a KVM over IP solution?
Well, normally closed loop is you take it out of the IP domain, so it's more of like a proprietary baseband system. So it could be running over a like a layer 2 connection, which won't allow you to have all of the IP interconnects like if you were hooked up to a physical network switch somewhere. So it's a little more secure. It does limit some of the access points that you have. But as far as security, when you need to be able to isolate those and you want to make sure that you have that extra layer of secure connections, then you would identify it as a closed loop. These are more mainly in environments where you have to lock down uh, high level security access points. In the standard KVM over IP, this is pretty much open where globally, as long as you have the permissions and the connectivity uh, protocols, then you can basically log anywhere that you want around the world. There are also additional gateways that would allow you to tap into a closed loop system if you so desired, but you really want to make sure that you have those firewalls in place.
I know you briefly just talked about this, but what are the security implications of using KVM over IP compared to the closed loop KVM system?
So over the KVM over IP is that you really need to be able to lock down your security levels. Like it's really important that you put the firewalls in place, that you have a good setup for your cybersecurity type applications, and this two-level authentication that's very important now to make sure that when you log in that you are the actual user, so that you don't get any of these bad actors coming in and tapping into your environments or your classified type information. The other thing that you have to deal with on the KVM over IP is there's sometimes you have bandwidth issues where you have to be able to share that among different organizations. There's also some latency that you have to deal with sometimes, whereas a closed loop is basically a point-to-point connection. So there, the world is going to IP, so you can't get around it. But there's when you set up a KVM over IP system, you really want to make sure that your back-end security levels and authentications and all of those pieces that go into setting up an IP environment are in place because once a bad actor gets in, they can really mess up a lot of stuff.
I know security is so important in these environments.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add? Do you have any closing thoughts?
Well, I'll kind of give kudos out to a new organization that IHSE is tied in with, and that's the C2A which is the Command and Control Alliance. And this is an organization that is trying to develop some best practice standards. And I think that as people start, as it's fairly new, but as there's a lot of people that are getting involved with this. And I think that's just one thing that people should start paying attention to is that at least on a simplistic level is look at these baseband or these base practices to make sure that when you are putting a command and control environment together, that you do have at least the basic pieces in place.
Well, thank you so much, Dan, for joining me today, and thanks again for sharing all your insights.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you letting me speak.
Please check back on commercialintegrator.com throughout the month of August, and of course in print for all things command and control room related.